Well, I asked the question, people. That's what I'm here to do. So I take it you're against increasing the assembly size. You want to keep it where it's been for 150 years at only 80 assembly people. Why not abolish a whole huge department like the California Department of Environmental Services or Child Support Services, which, by the way, is causing broken families?
Very good.
Destroying families. And I know of numerous families where CPS has grabbed a child on the slightest excuse and then refused to give it back until they take all these classes. We had a woman down here. In fact, she was right here in the show. Her name was Betty Powers. She went to church 4 times a week. The father of her child had died shortly before it born, and they took that baby away. It was her only daughter. At the same time, another judge just gave her 50% custody of her 2 sons who were 10 and 11. Yet CPS kidnapped her daughter out of Marion Hospital day after it was born. She had just nursed it once, and they stole that baby, and they never gave it back. And I got her an attorney. We proved that everything CPS had said. They said she was homeless. She didn't. She had a home. They said she was schizophrenic. We had tests done. She was not schizophrenic. They said she had alcohol and stuff. She was not on alcohol. They never gave her back her child, even though we proved everything CPS said was a lie. They never gave her baby back, and it was the only daughter, Angel Powers, they ever took. And I saw the record. I saw the actual record with Judge Garcia and that other horrible judge. We got her off. The day I asked, is she a bull-dyked lesbian judge? She decided not to run anymore. She was running for re-election. It was Barbara Beck. And all I did is ask the question. But Barbara Beck was pulled back from retirement. And while Garcia was on vacation, she came in and put the stab into Betty Powers' case and finished it so CPS could steal that baby. It was totally illegal what they did. Now, the reason I'm interested in increasing that assembly is you don't have time as one of 80. Michael Warnken pointed out that each one of those 80 sits on 5 or 6 or 10 or 20 committees. But if you had 1,000 assemblymen, he could only sit on one committee and actually do justice to that committee. Okay, you take a position, you're against increasing this because you think it'll expand government. I don't consider that government. To me, government is CPS, environmental people, all these other people that never get rid of. You don't elect them and you can't get rid of the buggers. They just sit there and suck up, and that's what's bankrupting this state. We have I got to ask you this, because the bill is already in there. I've known about it for 2 years. I just said something 2 months ago, and within 2 weeks after I announced it, the regular media announced, oh yeah, the legislature is going to legalize marijuana for anybody over 21. We're going to have legal marijuana cigarettes in California. It's going to happen this year. Do you favor that?
No, I'll be against marijuana. I'll be against legalizing marijuana. But today's law that allows marijuana for medical use, it's the law. And I, as coming in as a lawmaker, I have to obey the law. So there are differences as what's in front of us today, what has been on the ballot, what has been passed by the people of California, regardless how you and I feel. But the law is the law. When this bill comes in front of me as to legalize marijuana, the answer is no.
Okay, that's a fair answer. Uncle Sam, touch Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam, did you have a question, something you wanted to say?
Well, I think the CPS has got too much power.
Did you hear that, Supervisor Katcho?
I do. It's not just CPS. You touch bases on environmental, the EPA or the CARB. And let me speak of a personal experience as why I feel the same way you do. I own gas stations. Years ago, when you pulled to a gas pump, it used to have 3 nozzles. Remember that?
Right, I do.
Today, it has a one nozzle. Now, today, while I was building a gas in mid-90s, they came to me and said, you have now to change from 3 nozzles to 1 nozzle at a cost of almost $14,000 per pump. And I have 3 locations. You can see the expense for a small businessman like me. When I called the EPA, what was their answer? They said, well, 3 nozzles will put up more fumes than 1 nozzle. And I said, you can only use 1 nozzle at a time. This is where we agree. This is where I'm frustrated with regulations.
I'm frustrated. What will you do to downsize CPS? What will you do to make them accountable? They commit perjury in secret family courts where media is not allowed to go in. It's secret. And they commit perjury on the record. And even if you catch them, the judge ignores it and goes by the recommendations anyway. I think Uncle Sam's right. Something has to be done to hold them accountable. We have to. Here's one thing you could do. If you remember nothing from tonight's show, create a law where in family court, even if they keep it secret, which to me is illegal by itself, if anybody makes a statement as to the custody of that child, it must be done under penalty of perjury. And if they're found to lie, anyone, not just the DA, not just the Attorney General, anyone can prosecute that CPS worker or anyone who files a report that is blatant perjury, that's blatant lie. Because we have that happening on a daily basis, and these crooked judges allow it to go by. And Judge Herman here should be removed. I got 3 copies of his oath of office. If you were in that assembly, I would ask you to hold a trial for Judge Herman because his wife is also a judge, and she signed authenticating one of his oaths of office. That violates the judicial canons of ethics, don't you think?
I'm with you. This is what else. This is what else we also have to do. Just like myself as a county supervisor, I get to run every 4 years, and I get to be tested every 4 years. When my name is on the ballot, you hear both sides of the story, those who like me, those who don't like me, the projects I have approved, projects I have disapproved. When the judges run, we don't hear anything about them. So the people should take a step forward to say, we're going to vote no on every one of them till such time we are able to hold them responsible to all of their actions. And somebody like yourself, who's done a very good job of keeping the history alive of each judge's decision, to make that available to your own show and or through the media to bring up all the decisions they have made on every case for the public to be educated, see if they will vote for her or him or against him or her.
Well, that's the problem. I tried to get a meeting with Sam Blakesley. You know who that is?
I do.
That's the seat you're running for, is it not?
Correct.
I took 3 different people 3 times to his office. We called. I didn't even get a call back from Sam Blakesley. And I am a Republican. I went to his office in Slow. That's why I think you must increase, and I know you're against this, but you must increase the size of the assembly. If you have to cut their salary in half, double the number from 80 to 160. It still wouldn't be enough. Because if I can't get my own representative to even call me back, and I've got people whose rights are being trampled on by corrupt, crooked judges, and the assembly has the power to hold a trial in the assembly and throw that judge out, even put him in jail. They could do that. You have that power.
But
that's
just
not
because
enough. I can't get a hold of them.
Just because your experience is different than maybe somebody else's as why you were able or not able to speak to Mr. Sam Blakesley doesn't mean that that's enough reason for us to now double up the size. And again, as a good Republican, you want to be sure that every penny of your tax goes into a good use.
I do.
And not to increase the size of the government.
I agree. But the assembly is not the government. It's the representative
You can't
of the
say
people.
that. As long as assembly are putting bills in front of us and there are few that stink, they are the government.
Well, they do
They're
stink.
the ones.
I agree
They're
with
the
you.
ones that put regulations forward, aren't they?
I
So
agree.
they're the government.
Cassandra, you had a question?